My name is Adriana. I am the current Miss Teen International 2022. I'm from Gurnee, Illinois, and I just started my freshman year of college at Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
For my first question is about your pageantry career. Is it your first title, Miss Illinois Teen International?
Yes, so I started my first pageant when I was 13 years old at just the local county fair level. And, I won, which was crazy because it was my first pageant ever and I had no idea what I was doing. But then November of 2021, I competed at the Miss Teen Illinois International Pageant. And it was my last year. I was about to age out. And I said, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. I heard a lot of good things about the international pageant system, and it turned out well. And then I went on to nationals. So this was really one of the first big pageant experiences I had going from Illinois to now at the Miss Teen International title.
And why did you choose Miss International Pageant System? Because in United States, we have a lot of system. We have Miss Teen USA, we have Miss Teen United States, we have the choice.
Yes, international pageants for me really brought my interest from just how much platform based they are and about service. I saw, the past title holder, Katie Hong, and just how much she was doing with her nonprofit, as well as I have my own nonprofit. And international pageants really cares about your voice in serving. And that was super important to me. Just my different background, being a female wrestler, but also wanting to step on the pageant stage, international pageants accepted that. And they really just let me be my true, authentic self. And for all the girls out there who really want to share themselves to the world, international pageants really, promotes that through their system. Yes, it's Equally Equipped. So I created Equally Equipped about a year and a half ago, and it's a nonprofit organization. And I created based on the fact of it's starting at the sports level. With wrestling, you have certain apparel that the boys wear that the girls can't wear. And the problem that I saw just in my local area was girls having to wear the boys' apparel. And that really sparked my interest that I was fortunate enough to have parents who purchased their apparel for me to wear to compete. So I felt confident and, in myself and in the sport, but many people don't have those resources. And that's how Equally Equipped became that everyone deserves to be equally equipped. And it started with partnering with Rudis, a national wrestling apparel organization, to create singlets for girls to take to underserved schools so girls have the right apparel. But then later on, through my reign as Miss Teen Illinois, I realized how many other places in the world girls aren't equally equipped. And then I partnered with Skills USA, which is a national trades organization, because the trades aren't equally equipped for girls. I had the opportunity to go to the National Trades Conference in Atlanta, Georgia in June, and it was just so surprising how many girls were not present in the aspects that, hey, we need to see girls in. And it was truly a life-changing experience for me to walk around the expo halls and talk to girls and share my story, because walking around you wouldn't say, oh, well, she wrestles. And I think sharing that story about myself really inspires girls that, well, yes, I wrestle. I'm standing here sharing my story about how I was told I couldn't wrestle, but I persevered through that. And really just expanding on Equally Equipped, that there are so many places in the world that kids, girls, everyone is not equally equipped. And that's my goal as Miss Teen International, to make sure that everyone is equally equipped, starting at the basic necessities like hygiene products and school supplies to just go to school every day.
You say me, you are wrestler. Why did you choose this sport? Because
Yeah.
I understand. I agree. It's a sport for men normally.
Yes. So I cheered for 7 years. I did competitive all-star cheer. It was truly my passion. I loved every second of it. In 2016, I won Summit, which is the National Cheerleading Championship. And at that point, I wanted a break. I wanted to start something new. But when I was 5 years old, I wanted to wrestle because I have an older brother who wrestles also. And I grew up around that scene, just going to tournaments every weekend and watching. I wanted to do it also. But my dad, he is my best friend. I'm a daddy's little girl to this day, but he was very iffy about the whole wrestling aspect because it wasn't a girl sport at the time. And after I closed my cheer career, I said, hey, I want to start wrestling. And it all sparked from there. Just that initial being told I couldn't, but then I remember the first day I walked into the middle school wrestling room, and this is back in 7th grade for me, and wrestling has grown so much since then for girls. But I approached the coach and I said, hey, I want to join the wrestling team. And he responded with, well, are you sure you don't want to be a manager instead? And that statement to this day, you know, shows me why I do what I do. Because I was originally told I couldn't. I was originally told that, hey, well, maybe don't wrestle. You can do the stats instead for the team. And from that point on, I knew that there were so many other girls who had similar experiences, not just in wrestling. And I've looked at wrestling at a different perspective that every time I go out and wrestle, it's not just for myself, but it's for that little girl in the stands who's watching and says, hey, well, she can do it, then so can I. And that's pretty much what equally equipped in wrestling is for me. It's showing other girls that they can and they will.
Between you and your brother, who is the best in wrestling?
That's My brother has way more years of experience on me, but we are completely different personalities. So he's definitely the more technical wrestler, but I'm definitely the more aggressive wrestler. So my mom always says, if we could just combine you two, you guys would be an amazing combination. But I think it's awesome because we can learn from each other. Just his skill level is a lot higher than mine, just based on the fact that he's been wrestling for over 15 years. And so I'm able to learn from that, but he sees how I handle situations in wrestling and he's kind of able to pick up from that. So I think it's definitely we learn from each other because we are completely different.
And what is your main goal in wrestling now?
Definitely it was to place at state, which I placed third at state. And it was bittersweet for me because I went into high school with the goal of, oh, I want to take first, just like every other person's goal. Oh, you want to take first. And I ended up having 2 shoulder surgeries um, in my high school wrestling career. And I think that just changed my perspective that things happen, but it's how you come back from them that's most important. And for college wrestling, it's just going out there and taking every match at a time and just looking at every match as an opportunity that I'm blessed with to wrestle and just starting there and working up and not focusing on this big goal, because every time I wrestle, that's a small goal itself that I'm able to go out there and compete.
And for you, what is the most difficult, to be wrestler or to be beauty queen?
Probably pageantry, mostly based on just how much involvement there is and just creating those connections with people around the world. I mean, yes, wrestling is really hard on the body physically, but pageantry pushes me to be my best self and to go out there and have these conversations and share my story, because wrestling really rooted that. But now I'm able to use pageantry to inspire young girls. And sometimes it's difficult and the schedules get busy, but I look at the schedule and say, there's a reason why I'm doing this. And that just puts a smile on my face and, helps me trust the process that everything will work out and I'm going to continue changing girls' worlds. It's definitely helped me come out of my shell. I've always been a big talker, but now I'm able to have these higher conversations with people and not get nervous. I always say if pageantry has shown me one thing, it's for everyone in the classroom, when you have that classroom presentation, a lot of people are nervous and scared to public speak. And through pageantry, I don't have that fear. I love having conversations with anyone I meet. And it's really just shown me my true self and to stick to it. And that's what international pageants does, as we talked about earlier. They really let me be my authentic self and share my story. And I'm a firm believer in God, and every time before I went on stage I would pray, but not pray to win. It was praying that the judges would see me and hear my story, because in the past my story has been dismissed, or I've been told I couldn't do something based on my gender or based on being a female wrestler and doing pageants. And just seeing that international pageants saw that in me really shows that for any girl out there, that this is a system that you really want to be a part of, because they let you be your true self. And just the friendships I've made, I'm still such good friends with some of the contestants I competed with. And I think that says a lot, that you can compete against each other, but at the end of the day, you guys can still come back together and be friends, because you're generally just happy for each other, because international pageants really brings in those amazing upbeat girls.
You are the perfect example.
Thank you.
You are a perfect example of you have no stereotype. You are no the typical beauty queen. We have a brain. You are not only a body. And for me, you deserve this title. You are
Thank
beautiful inside and outside. We have a
you.
great personality. We have a great story. And for me, it's most important for a beauty queen.
Thank you.
And what is in this competition? What is your best part? What is your worst part?
Definitely, I would say interview is always my strongest, because I love talking. I love making the judges laugh. And that's always my goal, just to go in and be my true self. Like I said earlier, that no matter what anyone tells you, oh, you have to answer a question this way or that way, the only person who can answer that question is yourself, and that authentic answer will always show in an interview. So definitely interview is always my strongest. And probably my weakest would definitely be, I would say, fun fashion, mostly based on just the movements. I'm a wrestler and it's always hard to get those movements down to be very not stiff like a wrestling practice, and be very natural and moving, because I can't dance, I can't move like that. So that's definitely something I would have to work very hard on, and that I practiced a lot, just coming up with a routine to really showcase my fun fashion and just my personality.
It's not too difficult for you to work with the heels shoes.
What?
It's not difficult for you to work to parade with the heels shoes.
No, not really. I think it's all about the shoes that you wear. I think just finding that shoe that feels the best on you is very important.
And when you understand you winning the title of Miss Teen, what is your first thing in mind?
I was beyond grateful. I was shocked. The photos say it all, that I was truly surprised, because at the end of the day, I knew I put the work in and I knew I did everything I could. And that was what I wanted to do. I walked into the whole pageant weekend with the thought in my head that at the end of the day, I did everything I could. And that created a very positive mindset for myself, that knowing at the end of finals night, that crown or not, I would be able to go to bed knowing that I gave it my all, and that's all I could do. But I was in complete shock, because I felt that moment just brought my life together and showed me that through all the obstacles and all the doubts that people have put in my head, and all the negativity, that I was able to come back from that and share my story and create a nonprofit to empower girls through just getting out there and just having the right tools to succeed in all aspects of life, that I was originally told no, but I'm going to make sure that no other girl is told no in that regard.
And what is the reaction of your parents after Ukraine?
They were in shock. They were absolutely in shock. My mom is my biggest supporter all the way in pageantry. We do interview questions together, but she definitely just keeps me calm and in a good place. But they were shocked, but it was also, I mean, my mom, she was teary-eyed because she's seen firsthand the obstacles I've had to go through. And I just know, her being my mom, it was so important to her to see that all my hard work truly paid off. And I think the thing that made it the best was Miss Illinois, who is now Miss International. We were both from Illinois and we had this connection already. And there's a video out there of I won and I stepped aside, and then my reaction when she won, because at that point I was like, oh, hey, I won. But then I was so excited for her because I wanted it just as bad for her because I saw how much work she put in too. So I thought, that made it 10 times better, just being able to be crowned and hold hands and walk down the runway together and just having that connection, because she truly is my queen sister for life.
Do you think you can bring the crown of Miss Teen International for the next competition of wrestling?
For the Miss International competition?
Your crown of Miss Teen International for the next competition of wrestling.
For wrestling?
You are a wrestler. You are next
Yes.
competition in a few weeks. I
Yeah,
think. Do you think you can take your crown for this next competition?
I could definitely try. It's definitely a big crown, but I absolutely love it. It's my favorite. It's so pretty, but I think I love about international pageants how me and the preteen, our crowns are similar, and then the Miss International and the Mrs. International, they're similar as well. But I definitely think that'd be a cool scene to just combine those two worlds together.
And what is your next event? What is the next step with your title of Miss Teen International?
Yeah, so I'm definitely planning on visiting more Girls Inc. locations around the world, which I'm partnered with. And I'm also going to be visiting Allendale Association as well, which is in Lakeville, Illinois. It's local, but it's a place for, girls and boys who, have had a rough life, who have, gone through things. And before the pageant, I was able to go in and talk to these girls and share my story, and it was one of those moments that you can see in their eyes that what I was saying, being the same age as some of them, was important. So as much face-to-face communication as possible, because I feel like those connections in person truly mean a lot. I had an experience in Kingsport, Tennessee, a few days before the pageant when all the contestants go and visit the Girls Inc. location. And we were walking around talking to girls, and I was having a conversation with one little girl, and very conversational. What's your favorite color? What do you like to do? Do you play any sports? And she said, well, actually, I've always wanted to play soccer, but none of the boys around here say I can, or they always leave me out. And right then and there, that not warmed my heart, but it was one of those things that for a girl to say she was told she couldn't play soccer, how many other girls are told they can't do a sport? And I was holding this girl's hand and I said, I promise by the next time I come back next year, crown or not, I was going to come back and make sure that she has a basket of, soccer supplies so she can play soccer, because that's important to me. And it was just one of those moments, seeing that conversation that I had, how many more of those moments I can have during my years Miss Teen International.
You say me it's the beginning of this interview. You are in Wisconsin. for your study? What do you want to become in future?
I am currently studying communications and political science, but I'm also going to take some pre-law classes as well because I'm undecided if I want to go to law school yet or not. But definitely public speaking, politics, really just getting involved and changing the world for the better and doing what's best for everyone. Through pageantry, I've had, this public speaking experience and being able to touch little girls and just inspire them. And I feel like that just carries on to the bigger picture in life when I grow up of, yes, politics and government interest me, but really just speaking and having those connections and continuing to share my story and keep moving forward with my organization Equally Equipped, because after my year as Miss Teen International, Equally Equipped is still going to continue to grow. Miss Teen International is just giving me that role now to have more reach to people and to share my platform with a bigger audience.
You say me you like political communication political. Do you want to become a representative of your state like Miss USA 2018? She want to become senator, to become a representative of Senate. Do you want to become a representative of Wisconsin or of Illinois to the Senate?
That would definitely interest me as well, starting at the state level. They always say that, overnight you don't get to the high level, in the White House or doing anything like that. So definitely starting at the state, and especially Illinois. I'm going to school in Wisconsin, but Illinois is my roots. That's where I've grown up my whole entire life. So if I'm able to give back in any way possible and really have a role like that, that would mean a lot to me. Yes. So my personal Instagram for Miss Teen International is at Miss Teen INTL 2022. And you will also find most of our content from all the queens at INTL Pageants, which is the main international pageants page, where you can find information all throughout the year about the upcoming pageant, applying to be a contestant in the pageant, and just watching our reigns as the preteen, teen, Miss, and Mrs. as we go out through our years. And those are the main places where you can follow. I also have a website, equallyequipped.com, which is all about Equally Equipped and what I'm doing with my nonprofit. But definitely the main page you will want to follow is at INTL Pageants, which is all the information you will need. And just, applying. We are currently looking for contestants. And I think, it's really important to, have this interview with you and just really share that, many girls are told they can't in pageants because they don't look like a certain mold. And I'm here as a wrestler who also won Miss Teen International. And I think that says everything about the international pageant system, that they're looking for girls who are different, who are changing the world, who are staying true to themselves. And I think that's so important. And if anyone were to ask me, oh, what pageant would you go to? I would highly encourage international pageants, because not only did it give me this opportunity, but it gave me a chance to share my story and not be afraid to share my story.
What is your first tip, your first advice you could give to someone who hesitated to enter in international pageant system?
For like the best tip for how to apply?
Your best tip, your best advice for someone who hesitated to enter in international pageant.
Be you. I know that's very, very could be broad, but that being said, I went into the whole pageant experience and I promised myself I was going to be Adriana. I was going to be my true self. And that's what they want. They don't want you to be anyone but yourself. And I feel that's, why I had such an amazing connection with the judges, because I went into the interview, my bubbly, goofy, upbeat self, because I just wanted to be myself and share my story with the judges. So if you're going to apply for international pageants, the best advice I can give is just stay true to yourself and be you, because that's the best version out there.
Beauty pageant is a beauty contest. Do you think do you think the world is too focused about the outside beauty?
I definitely think so. There's that pageant stereotype that's out there that you have to look a certain way, and I don't think that's true. I think it's so important that my tagline that I use through Equally Equipped is beauty and strength aren't mutually exclusive, and I think I'm a living example of that you can be beautiful, but you can also do sports and be an athlete, and I think it just doesn't have to be one or the other, because at the end of the day, my personality showed. I shared my story and my past, and I think that's really important, that it's not just about the outside, but they really want to know what's in the inside and what makes you you.
And pageantry is a little stressful for a lot of girls. How do you maintain your mindset positively during the competition?
I'm definitely someone who gets very stressed anytime I compete. Pageants, wrestling, a test in school, that's just kind of who I am. But the main thing I did for the international pageants weekend was just putting that trust in God and trusting the process and knowing at the end of the day that I can only give my absolute best and the rest is out of my control. And no, it's a hard way to look at things and it's very eye-opening, but having that mindset very much put my mind at ease that I'm just going to do everything I can and the rest is out of my control. And it was really just realizing that, there's stuff that I can have control over, but there's things that I can't. And just being content with that and accepting that really just, kept the stress levels down during competition.
You seem very busy. You are wrestling, we have beauty queen crown duty, and you have study. How do you manage all things at the same time?
Definitely keeping a calendar. The first thing I did after I won Miss Teen International was I created a Google Calendar and color coded it so I'm able to keep up, because before winning, I was terrible with keeping a schedule. I would always overbook and just, have things at similar times. But having a schedule now, I'm really able to lay things out and I'm a visual learner and I'm just able to visually see, oh, okay, on this day I have this or that, and just really putting every single thing into the calendar so I know exactly what's going on.
What what do you enjoy to doing during your spare time? You have a lot of free time, I know, but what do you enjoy to doing during this free time?
Definitely relaxing. Like you said, I'm always very busy. So if I have any free time whatsoever, it's just kind of decompressing and relaxing before on to the next thing, because I think that's super important to just keep up with that and focus on your mental health and just, take those breaks when they're needed.
What is your guilty pleasure in life?
Mm, Probably chocolate chip cookies. That's a tough one. They're just I'm a big chocolate chip cookie lover. I love them. They can be homemade from the store. I love all of them. But definitely during wrestling season, can't have too many of them. So when I do get the opportunity to have one, I definitely enjoy it.
Do you cook yourself your cookies?
I don't. I am not a good cook. My mom, great at cooking cookies and baking and everything. Me, not so much. But I'm gonna have to learn. Yes.
You have the chance because cooking challenge is a new challenge in a lot of beauty pageants this year. And for international pageant, we have no cookie challenge. You are a lucky girl.
Yes, I am very, because I think my best creation would be mac and cheese.
But
And it's
I have an interview. It's Miss International Japan, no Thailand, and she say me I have a boyfriend for the cooking.
that's so funny.
It's a she have find the good partner. She's chef. He's chef, and she say me it's a good chef.
I just want to be someone that they can look up to. And I know that's, a very big word to look up to someone, but just being someone that I can inspire girls. And, just that girl who said she couldn't play soccer and me standing there saying, I wrestle and you can. I think that's the most important. Or going to the place like Allendale where these girls have been told all their lives that they can't do something because they're not the certain person that society wants them to be, and just being able to stand in front of those girls and have those conversations is truly important. So just through my nonprofit Equally Equipped, providing girls with the right tools to succeed in all aspects of life and being that person that they can look up to, that's my main goal. And if I can do that, then it's accomplished, and I want to be that person for girls around the world.
And who is your role model?
My role model definitely has to be my mom. She is my biggest supporter. I've always looked up to her, and she's always just been there for me. And she's always told me that no matter what I put my mind to, I can accomplish great things. And she's always there to push me and just help me be my best version of myself.
And have you a message for your mother?
Well, I just talked to her on the phone about an hour ago. But probably just saying, "I love you, mom. I miss you. I'm at college." And yes, but it is nice because I'm only about an hour away from home, which was super important to me because I'm very family orientated. So just being able, to go home and not have that long drive to see my mom and dad was really important to me.
I see Katie. I have interviewed Katie last
Yeah.
year. It's a very pleasure. Katie called you during the national. Katie give you some advice before, just after Ukraine.
She said just enjoy the journey. And I think that's very important that, no matter what from the year, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So just enjoy it. Things are going to get stressful and things are going, to be overwhelming, but you always have to remember that, this is a great opportunity. So just be along for the ride. And, that was really important. And just, she's always there. Just, she sent me a message right after, hey, if you need anything throughout the year, I'm here. And I think, that shows the sisterhood of international pageants, that past title holders are there for you, with any questions you have, any advice you need. And I think that just shows the true sisterhood that there is.
I imagine you have received a lot of message after Ukraine. What is the most happy? What is the message you give most happy after read this message?
Probably, well, my best friend was at the pageant, her and her mom, so that was really important. But probably my boyfriend, his message meant a lot because, it was one of those messages that, not a lot of people support pageants, especially wrestling, and he wrestles as well. So having that message and just, like the congratulations and everything, he was live streaming the pageants. That was really important to me. And it was just cool for him to really see me in my element and just know how important pageantry really is to me.
Your boyfriend is proud to become
Yeah,
the boyfriend of Miss Teen
he
International.
he is international pageant's biggest fan. He reposts everything, but he never hesitates to tell someone, "Oh, by the way, she's Miss Teen International." So it's really nice because he is proud, but it also means a lot that, you know, someone sees how important this is to me and really appreciates, all the work that I put in.
You use social media to promote your platform, to promote your organization, your journey. What do you think about the powerful of social media today? It's not too dangerous?
I think there's a middle ground of social media. I think sometimes, the negativity can be out there, but social media also brings a lot of positives. My positives with social media are through Instagram and just having that page to share reels and about my platform and just share my year with the world. But I think it's also important that we keep social media a positive environment and really just, lift each other up instead of bringing each other down. So I think there's a very, you know, good balance right in the middle of, not letting it completely consume us and be a negative, but also, using it as a positive.
Do you think Miss Teen International is your last title, or do you think you can compete in the Miss category in the international pageant system?
I would love to come back and compete at the Miss International level. Just seeing from the experience I had, crown or not, I would love to go back and just enjoy that again because it was such an amazing experience that international pageants gave that it wasn't about the crown at the end of the day. I made friends. I had a great experience. We, did outings throughout the week, and it was truly just, an unimaginable experience that I would love to just go back and do it again.
I think you can win the crown of Miss International. We have the good behavior. You have the good personality for this crown, Miss Teen International. And in the future, you don't change. You can win. You can win the crown of
Be,
Miss
and
International.
that's
It's
be,
possible.
be true to yourself, be you, and don't change that. I would definitely just say thank you for everyone for believing in me and trusting in my story and seeing me for who I was. Because, at the end of the day, I am different, but the people who have been behind me and really have had my back through the whole journey from, when I started wrestling to my first pageant to now, I can't thank them enough. And, for the girls out there who have been told they can't do something based on how they look or what sport they compete in or anything along those lines. You can and you will. And I'm sitting here today as a living example that international pageants gave me this opportunity and they saw truly who I was. And if you're a girl out there who just wants a place to really share her story with the world, then please consider international pageants because it truly was a life-changing experience.
Do you think, for the moment, your non-profit organization is a United States organization, only for the United States? Do you think you can go up your organization for worldwide?
Well, yes, my organization is already international based on my partnerships with Girls Inc., Skills USA, and Rest Like a Girl. Those three are already international organizations. So having those ties already only helps me grow it more and more. But definitely going into the pageant with those, ambassadorships with those organizations was really important because it just showed that Equally Equipped is already international and will continue to grow being Miss Teen International.
I send you good vibes to go up, and maybe you can, I can see this grow up of organization because I like very much your organization. I think
Thank you.
it's very important. You have we have no sport for men and a sport for women. It's for all people.
Yes. Thank you.